The Layah Heilpern Show. BitMEX, the OG crypto derivatives platform and the best place to buy your Bitcoin.
Things really are just starting to heat up.
It's time to reveal the honest truth about Andrew Tate. My name is Layah Heilpern, and before I get into this video, I do want to let you know that this particular episode is sponsored by the cryptocurrency exchange BitMEX. So if you want to buy some crypto, you want to buy some Bitcoin, then pick BitMEX. So I'm going to leave the links for you in the description below. So make sure when you buy your Bitcoin or buy your crypto, you pick BitMEX. I want to make this video to address the truth about Andrew Tate. I want to tell you who he is based on my personal experiences with him. We did an interview together, which has actually got 2.1 million views. So if you haven't seen that, I'm going to leave the card for you here and also links again in the description below. So definitely check that out. I've actually met Andrew on several occasions. The first time I met him was in 2020, so 2 years ago. We met in Romania, in Bucharest, through a mutual friend, and we all went out for dinner together. He turned up in a Lambo, which was pretty cool. He was there with his girlfriend. I was there with some friends, and we all had dinner, and we all had a really nice time. We spoke a lot about crypto. We spoke a lot about COVID. We spoke a lot about all the crazy things that are going on in the world at the moment. He asked me my opinion on it. We had a really nice intellectual conversation. He wasn't rude to me. He wasn't inappropriate with me, and he was very gentlemanly and very friendly. We then ordered some food. He said, please order anything you like. He was very polite and friendly to the waiters and waitresses, which I think is also a sign of somebody's character. He got the bill, which was very generous. It was obviously going to be very expensive. We ordered wine, meat, starters, dessert. We had a really great time. A couple of days later, we were actually invited to go over to his house. I got to his house and he was very hospitable, very friendly. He showed us around. He was very respectful. I didn't feel uncomfortable. He was very nice, very friendly. He was very funny. We spoke a lot about Bitcoin and crypto. He told me about different investments he made, I think in like Link or something like that. And everybody was just chatting, having a really nice time. We ordered some drinks. We ordered some food. He then went to go play chess on the computer by himself. And we just spoke about everything and anything. He wasn't inappropriate with me. He didn't try touch me inappropriately or speak with me inappropriately. He just asked me really about things that I'm interested in, you know. And actually one story that I do really want to recount is they'd ordered some pizza for us. Him and his brother had ordered some pizza. I don't eat pork, ham, or anything that comes from a pig. And so they ordered pizza with pepperoni on it and sausages and stuff like that. So I turned around to him and I said, hey, do you mind? I know you've already ordered it, but do you mind calling them back and ordering something else? Like, I can't eat that. He was more than happy to do that. And I felt more than comfortable asking. Called them back up, ordered me a margarita pizza, and it was no problem. There were some other girls there. They were all having a really nice time. Everybody seemed really happy and like they were enjoying themselves. It was then time to leave and I got an Uber home and that was it. So that was 2 years ago. Fast forward to September 2021, we hadn't really spoken, but he actually dropped me a text message saying that he was going to be in London, where I was based at the time. Do I want to come out and meet him and just catch up? So I actually went to go meet Andrew, his brother, and some of their friends in Knightsbridge. And so I went by myself, I got an Uber, and I went to go meet him. I decided to go by myself because I felt fully comfortable. I trusted this person. I met him twice. I've had conversations with him and I trusted him. He was very gentlemanly. He welcomed me. I sat next to him. We spoke a lot about my book, actually, which he said he was going to buy and he never did. So that's my only, up to this point, that's my only bad thing I have to say about Andrew. He said he was going to buy my book, Undressing Bitcoin. I'll leave the link in the description, but he hasn't bought it yet, but he said he was going to. So Andrew, you need to buy my book. You promised me. Other than that, he ordered every single cocktail on the menu. He ordered me a cigar to smoke. I never smoked a cigar before. And again, we just spoke about the world. We spoke about the last 2 years. Nobody was misogynistic. Nobody made any uncomfortable jokes. Nobody tried again to touch me inappropriately or anything like that. Absolutely not. Everything was very nice. I felt very comfortable. And his brother had a nice young girl that was there. She seemed very happy, like she was enjoying herself. Then eventually I decided that I wanted to go home. And Andrew walked me out, got up like a gentleman, walked me to the front of the building, and he ordered me an Uber home. And he ordered me an XXL executive, the most over-the-top, extravagant Uber there is. He paid for it. And he said to the Uber driver, this is my wife. Please make sure you look after her, make sure she gets home safely. Otherwise, he'd have him to deal with. I thought that was very nice. He was being very gentlemanly, making sure that I got home safely, which is totally different and in contrast to what social media is saying about him. They're saying that he hates women, he abuses women. And clearly none of that is true in my personal experience so far. I've been with him alone, with his brothers, and nothing negative has happened. I've always felt very protected and very comfortable. And he texted me to make sure that I got home home okay. Andrew says that women are the most precious things on the planet and they need to be protected. And that certainly felt true. It felt like he really meant what he said. So that was September 2021. So fast forward to December 2021. I'm in Miami, he's in Miami, and he drops me a message and he says, hey, let's do an interview. So I actually got an Uber to his place, to his house where he was staying in Miami. Again, I went by myself and I felt very comfortable to go by myself. And I was right. I get to his place and then Andrew's just there around the corner and he says hi and everything was very nice. And actually he had he had professional catering staff. So they'd actually laid out a long table in the kitchen of fruits. There was granola, yogurts, there was croissants, coffee, tea. Everything looked really delicious. And he offered me some breakfast, which was nice. We kind of discussed the questions that we were going to talk about. Now I wanted to do the interview with him because he has a lot of controversial opinions. And there's a lot that I agreed with him on in the interview. There's parts that I disagreed with him on, which I kind of mentioned. But overall, I was very open-minded and happy to do the interview because I really wanted to learn more about him. Okay, so the first controversial comment, which a lot of people don't like that he said in the interview, was he compared women to children. Now, I think a lot of what Andrew says is hyperbole and I think it's exaggerated. And it's simply just an analogy. No, he doesn't literally think women are children. If he thought women were children, he wouldn't be sleeping with women. He's basically saying women are not men. Women are delicate. Women are emotional. Women need help, whether it's emotional support, whether it's physical support. We need attention. And all of these things, I agree with him. He said that women are difficult to travel with, and I understand that. We get hungry, and if we're not fed, we get hangry. So I understand when he says women are children. We're emotional. We need emotional support. And I think the older I get, the more I value men, the more I understand how men can provide stability, emotional stability. They're that anchor to reality, which I think women really need. But like I said, you got to take what he says with a pinch of salt. He's a marketer, it's hyperbole, it's going to be exaggerated. Okay, the second point is the whole thing about monogamy. He says when you're a high value man, you can have as many women as you want. Now, I agree. I don't necessarily think this is ethical or unethical, but I think it's true. You see some of the richest, most successful men in the world, they have multiple women because they can. Now, here's the distinction and the important point to make. If all the women involved know the truth, they know the deal, they know what's going on, then I think it's fine. My pushback was, he was sort of saying that, all men are this way. I don't think he can tar all men with the same brush. I think that would be unfair. He can't speak for all men, obviously. But like he also says, exceptions don't make rules. So the rule is, if you're super high value, you're the man that every single woman wants, then yes, you can have multiple women and the women will be okay with that. There were other things that I disagreed with him on, but overall, it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, we're having a conversation. And just because I may disagree with him on something, it doesn't mean that I have to be offended. It doesn't mean that he's being sexist. It doesn't mean that he's being misogynistic. It doesn't mean that he's being an abuser. It just means we disagree, and we can disagree because we're adults. Now, I want to address the rumors and the misconceptions. Now, one of the most controversial things that keeps going around, and a lot of my friends are actually texting me saying, is, Layah, how can you justify Andrew's opinion whereby Andrew says women are my property? Now, are women the property of men? It's a great question. Now, again, I think that statement is hyperbole. I think that it's an exaggeration of a greater sentiment, essentially, in that it's the man's responsibility to provide for her, to lead her, to protect her. That's sort of why he would say women are a man's property. You don't have to be offended by it. It's also not a new concept either. It's why the father walks the woman down the aisle when she gets married. It's always going to be a man that walks the woman down the aisle and gives her over to her husband. Since the dawn of time, women have been men's property, but not in a negative way, in a way that it's the man's responsibility to always look after her, always provide for her, always to make sure she's okay, she's safe. I think that's beautiful. I think we're trying to be offended by something which actually is a very beautiful concept. In fact, the kind of man that I'm looking for is a man that will also consider me to be his property, because when I'm his property, he's going to make sure nothing bad happens to his property. The same way a man protects his car, his house, his family, is the same way that I hope that my husband one day will protect me. Another really controversial topic is the fact that Andrew talks about liking younger girls. Now, a lot of these clips that we see of Andrew have actually been taken out of context. So when he talks about younger girls, we're not talking about women who are younger than 18. And I don't think he's ever said that. I've never heard Andrew say he's into young girls. He's talking about women in their 20s as opposed to women in their 30s and 40s. And there's nothing wrong with that. How can you be offended by somebody's sexual preference? And this is nothing new either. I think a lot of this stuff with Andrew, he he's saying what everybody else is thinking. Men, since the dawn of time, have preferred younger women for whatever reason, and that's okay. Women have always dated older men. Nobody's ever had a problem with that. The kind of man that I'm looking for is a man that's going to be in his 30s, because I need certain things, and I know that I'm more likely to find that in a man in his 30s. I remember when I was growing up, when I was 19, 20, 21, and I'd be wanting a man that was 25, 26, and the men my own age would be really hurt and offended by that. And there's nothing you can do about that. I didn't like guys my own age the same way men don't like women their own age. They date down, women date up. This is just reality, and it's not a big deal. And I think actually Andrew is doing a great good for women and for feminism. I think Andrew's actually the greatest feminist if you think about it. And I've actually texted Andrew and I told him girls that are 15 years old in 10 years time will have a big thank you to say to Andrew, because the guys that are currently 25 are consuming his content and learning how to be a man. You know, what does it mean to be a man? What does it mean to protect and provide? Forget toxic masculinity. Andrew's actually teaching men how to be men. When these 15-year-olds turn 25 and they're looking at men that are 35, you know, they're going to have better men to pick from because they've learned from Andrew. To wrap up, I think there's a massive war on masculinity right now. To really show this war on masculinity across media outlets, they're talking about, you know, if a man wants to work out and he's got muscles, it means he's a right-wing and he's probably going to be sexist and a misogynist. I mean, what the hell is that? The government, this system, they want you weak. They want men in particular to be weak, fat, and compliant so that they can't fight the tyranny. Because when you're weak, fat, and compliant, addicted to porn and unable to get outside your house and actually be aware of what's going on in the world, then the powers that be have more control. When men are strong, when men are intelligent, when men are entrepreneurs, when men are hitting the gym, that is not good for those who are in charge. And so, like I said earlier, I'm personally very excited about what Andrew's doing. He's empowering men to be better. As a woman, I want a strong man. I want a man that's going to look after me. And only a strong man who knows how to take personal responsibility, somebody that's wise, somebody that's smart, only that kind of man is going to be able to do that. A lot of women are settling for men that aren't particularly strong because there aren't strong men left. And so women are miserable. Women are then having to become more masculine so they can fill that void that's been created by society because men aren't men anymore. I think femininity can truly flourish in an environment whereby she's safe. And safety is masculinity. It's masculine energy. It's showing her that everything's going to be okay, you know, solving problems for her. That is how femininity can truly flourish. And so when a man can be a man, as Andrew's empowering them to be, then a woman can be a woman. And that makes me happy. So overall, to wrap up this video, I have had nothing but positive encounters with Andrew Tate. He's always been very gentlemanly. I think he's very fun. He's very charismatic. He's very smart. I think he's a great businessman. He's also, let me say, I haven't mentioned this yet, he's also loyal. He's loyal to his friends. He's loyal to his brothers. And that is a huge sign of somebody's character. There's a lot of accusations about him online, and honestly, I just don't believe them because I've met the guy, and because I don't believe them, I will meet Andrew again. And we will do another podcast again. Guys, if you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit the like button and hit subscribe so you never miss a video and so you can stay up to date and actually help support this kind of content, because right now, as we saw, censorship is absolutely rife. I don't agree with it. I don't support censorship. I support freedom of speech. And on this channel, I try to push as much freedom of speech as possible, give everybody a platform. So if you can all please hit the like button and subscribe, I'd appreciate that. And we can keep spreading this message. Until next time, stay tuned.
The Layah Heilpern Show.